You might call it divine intervention, wrapped up in a package of counterculture to tackle the establishment. Powder Magazine burst onto the scenes in the 1970s, creating a revolution of imagery, topped off with a spoonful of articles that touched the soul of every skier. Powder Magazine was my first gateway drug. It was the fix for emerging ski bums in cities, towns, and villages across North America. Because for us, it was a peek into our heroes' lives. We learned about new resorts, faraway mountains, and dream trips. Dave and Jake Moe ushered in skiing beyond gates, timing, ski school, and boundaries. It was a peek into the world of snow, adventure, and a sparkling landscape. Powder Magazine launched the photography careers of Wade McCoy, Scott Markowitz, Lee Cohen, Ace Cavalier, Mark Shapiro, Hank DeVray, Larry Prosser, Chaco Muller, Tom Lippert, and countless others. And think about it. For us ski bums, we were willing to do just about anything to get inside that mag. Yeah, we worked for free. We would gladly get paid a hamburger on Tuesday for a cliff jump on Monday. But their covers, that was the glory. And I want to read off some of the names that graced the covers of Powder Magazine. Robert Redford. Patrick Valençant, the godfather of extreme skiing. Mr. Mike Hattrip. The one and only Glenn Plake. Our main man, Scott Schmidt. Doug Coombs. Trevor Peterson. Eric Piota. Kristen Ulmer. John Treeman. Seth Morrison. Wendy Fisher. Micah Black. Kent Kreitler. Shane McConkey. Jeremy Novus. Chris Osnes. Dean Cummings. And Dominique Perret. Now that's a lineup. That's a lineup. And of course, raise your hand if you found yourself in the magazine or in a spread. Huh? I love that. Here it is. Right? That was all the goal. I love it. One of my favorite shots of all time. Dayglow one-piece suit, big hair headbands, white boots, and straight skis. We all waited for the first issue of this season to read Powder cover to cover, from the front copy to the back photo, articles, ads, and captions. Powder Magazine inspired careers. It moved people to the mountains and created a path forward for many of us. And it's a spiritual vibe that continues today. Let's learn more about Jake and Dave Moe.
Skiing was just entering a dynamic phase of growth in 1972 when Jake and David Moe introduced the world to Powder Magazine. Under the mantra, Powder to the People, the engaging photography and purposeful words on their pages changed the direction of skiing, pushing skiers to discover their own independence on the mountain. Jake and David grew up in Seattle, learning to ski as young boys on the old rope toes in Cayuse Pass. As teens, they were on ski patrol together. They loved to ski so much that the two of them were eventually kicked off patrol for skiing too fast. David initially pursued teaching, while Jake became a ski bum. He was inspired by the ski life in Sun Valley. He was also mesmerized by the way the lifestyle of surfing was captured in Surfer magazine. So he thought, why can't we do the same with skiing? On a ride up the Christmas lift to the top of Baldy, the concept of Powder was born. The debut Powder 7273 was branded the annual portfolio of the other ski experience. It was nothing like the traditional magazines. It featured exotic black and white images of snow, conveying the texture of powder skiing, along with a poetic ode that spoke to the ecstasy of floating. Alongside the magazine, David took on the iconic persona of Captain Powder himself. Outfitted in full white battle dress, complete with a white helmet and binoculars, Captain Powder became the iconic image for what powder and the sport of skiing represented. A cheerleader for the sport, motivating skiers to simply get out and ski. The brothers sold powder to Surfer Publications in 1981. A serial entrepreneur, Jake went on to form a host of media-related businesses. David remained as editorial director. For their legacy in motivating generations of skiers, Jake and David Moe are welcome into the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame.
And Dave Moe, having been elected by representation of the 11.6 million readers and skiers and snowboarders in America, we hereby bestow upon you here at Black Rock Mountain Resort in Park City, Utah, our country's highest snow sport award, the Medal of Honor. And confer upon you two brothers from this day forward, March 23rd, 2024, induction to the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame, where your accomplishments and your magazines will forever be remembered. Oh, you get the first guy. Whoa, this is getting crazy up here.
Whoa, thank you very much. It's beyond my belief. Never thought about it being here. Oh, we got the important thing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Whew. My heart is full of pride and everything to be here. I never thought much about the Ski Hall of Fame, but then I started reading about it and I noticed, wow, there's a lot of ski somebodies in here. So anyway, I've climbed a lot of summits in my life. On my mouth is dry. But this is like climbing all of them put together, and I feel like I'm on the top of the biggest powder mountain in the world, eating a big slice of cherry pie in the sky. I think skiing is half floating and half dancing, and so I'll ski this run down to the bottom. We'll start at the bottom, I thought we had to start with our boots on, the snow, so it's taken a long time. So I had to sidestep. I feel like I've been sidestepping for 50 years. My meter says I have 2.4 million steps. But viral is the big word now. And I think there's a fast viral and a slow viral. We were definitely the slow viral. but we kept borrowing for dollars. But anyway, thinking of the people in the Hall of Fame, I thought, wow, these are legends, masters, champions. So I think, well, to be part of that would be really nice, and I think I like it here. I think I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try to go for this next year. Get a twofer. So anyway, when I think of the legends, I'm thrilled beyond belief to be here, but I think of stars, and I was thinking, well, what do you call them? I couldn't call them ski gods. There's already Michaela, you know. So I think I'll call them saints, because I could sing that song. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, Lord, I want to be in that number when the saints go marching in. So, anyway, Jake really got the ball rolling on the patrol at Sun Valley. He and the guys saying, there's got to be a better magazine. There's got to be a better magazine, one that shows the soul, the photography, stories. And so he came home and said, what do you think? I said, well, I quit teaching school for that, you know. Next day I said goodbye. We went to Mom's kitchen table and thought, how do you make a magazine anyway? How do you make a magazine without any money? Well, first you put on your life support system. You hit the road, and I think of Warren Miller in his one-man trailer house, and I have a Volkswagen bus, and so we drove thousands of miles through rain, snow, ice, fog, got to a ski resort, and then we skied in rain, snow, ice, and fog until those bluebird days, 2-foot blower, if you know what that means. You grab a handful of snow and blow it off. Oh, wow, this is what it's all about. That was a game changer, all right. Our first issue, you saw it, we put a moon up in the left-hand corner, the Earth in the center, the circular of a planet. The lower right-hand side was skiers. Skiers is another world, powder's another world. So that's when we started the magazine, and I was the zany Powder Dream department, and should have been fired 20 times at least. But I told Jake, you can't fire me. I'm going to tell Mom, you know. Anyway, it grew. We had a little fire going in a village, and it kind of outgrew the village, went to the whole country, and then kind of outgrew the country and went to the whole world. And we got great material from all over the world, and we you know, magazine just got bigger and better all the time, and we felt, well, how could it be denied? Be denied? You know, it was too good to fail. Thought about it, but came close, but kept on going and got better. And I'm just so thankful for so many people here and across the world that got on board. And I guess I could start with Bernie Weissel was our first mentor, kind of. And I am Steve Yates, and I think we should thank Justin Nofsky for putting this on, because it's one of the great events of skiing, and it only takes a year to put together. But I got to thank Tim Petrick. I've always wanted to ski in his boots for 1,000 miles. Awesome skier. And our first editor, David Baldridge, the Indian, he was super. And then special tribute to Neil Stebbins, who was a beautiful soul, great editor. He just went to Powder Heaven last week. So Dave Reddick has been at the helm for 25 years doing an unbelievable job. And so I want to thank God for making me a Norwegian. As we started the sport. And then he also saved my life dozens of times. And I finally said, why have you saved my life so much? I thought I only had to be saved once. And he said, just maybe you might get inducted to the Hall of Fame. Anyway, who else? Thank you all. There's still hope for the ski bum.
Thank you. I lost my voice at the powder party last night, so that's normal. Thank you, U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame. Thank you, family. Thank you, friends. This is just amazing. If a book were to be written about my life, it would be titled, "You Just Can't Make This Up." And the reason for that, I say that I arrived in Sun Valley in the winter of 68 and 69. Didn't know anybody, didn't have a job, didn't have a place to stay. But I was really, really rich. I had $95 in my pocket. And so it was during the Christmas holidays, and so I found a party. And I went into the party. It was at the Continental Inn. And there was a bedroom that was packed full of people. I went and leaned against the wall, slid down the wall, went under the bed, and that was my first night in Sun Valley. Now, if you take that image of a person coming into town and the only place to stay is under a bunk bed, and within 10 years, I happened to be close to the presidential motorcade, an entourage, and I yelled really loudly, Mr. President, are you getting your copies of Powder Magazine? And the president stopped, the Secret Service stopped, the news media stopped, and he looked over to me and he said, no, my staff is stealing all my copies. A couple of months ago, I was given a compliment, and it resonates. It's an amazing compliment when you unpile the layers of it. But Tom Kelly pulled me aside and said, you and Dave were the best self-motivators, the self-promoters in the entire industry I've ever met. And to me, I thought, wow, is that really what we did? Just self-promoting? We had I'm going to give you a little bit of background between how this magazine made it, because it's always a mystery. We had 3 different divisions in our brand new company, and the 3 different departments were the same departments that you have in your daily lives, and that is work, play, and worry. And Susie handled the accounts payable, and since there wasn't really any accounts receivable, she was really good at the worry part. Okay, I was the work guy. I had business cards as a 3rd grader that said, I mow lawns and do odd jobs. Lakeview 3, 1830. Call the number if you need your lawn done. So I've always just been a worker. Dave was perfect for play. So he was the epitome of what our readers wanted. I was just a Fuller brush salesman. So I wanted to sell you an ad or sell you a subscription. Dave would travel around. He would ski all day with these lift tickets. He would party all night, all evening, and then he would couch surf all night at all these photographers around the world. And so when they had a choice, when they had the best work that they had done, do they send it off to Madison Park or to the couch guy? And that's how Powder got such great stuff, because I was there to sell you something. Dave was there to steal your heart. So that's how it worked. Now, Solomon Bindings was our very first advertiser. We actually went to the ski show. We got in through Scott USA with a banner, and Dr. Rochus was always looking at us to see if we were violating the rules, and we had scurried away from Doc whenever he was there just to sell ads, and I was successful with one company, and that was Bob Reef, Bud Raymer, and Algodo. And they were the ones that made the commitment to purchase the full-page ad featuring Eddie Ferguson in the very first issue. Now, that was only a $2,000 ad, but in today's dollars, it's about $13,000. So would you give $13,000 today to two guys that had no idea what they were doing? And that's really what happened. They basically made that commitment, and then obviously we grew from there, which was really, really amazing. Now, I pulled into Los Angeles for the ski show in 1974, and this is a little bit of housekeeping, so you're going to help me with this. So I pulled in a station wagon full of Powder magazines, and I started selling them in a booth next to a booth of posters. But the poster guy was never there. He was always in these high-level meetings with a Mr. Leonard and a Mr. Simon. So, I sold a couple of the posters because he wasn't there, just to help out. So this guy comes back and says, I just got a great new job as the assistant manager of the ski show circuit, and it was Bernie, okay? Now, okay, and what he doesn't realize is, maybe he does, is that the small amount of money that we were able to make selling posters, traveling across the country at the ski shows, paid for the real Motel 6, because it was $6, paid for 24 cents a gallon of gas, and 21-cent burgers at McDonald's. So in combination with posters and with the magazine sales, we were able to continue traveling and make it to the end of the route. And all along the way, lots of ski shops would come in to the show and say, hey, we'd like to pick that up. And so that really gave us the cash flow to get going. Now, this is really hard for David and I to actually put our finger on this, but this whole idea of a cult following is completely out of our control. It just happened. So we had a guy drive from Maine to California, and he came. I remember the day he showed up, and he said, I'm here to go to work. We said, well, we didn't advertise for anybody. We didn't, we don't need any. We don't have any funding. And he said, no, I'm here to come. I just drove from Maine to go to work. And so he was so determined that this fellow, Steve Yates, we gave him a job to basically sign up ski shops across the country on commission, work year-round, and he accumulated 3,000 ski shops selling Powder magazine. Now, this is really, really fun because I went into New York. I actually was up in Burlington. I was calling on a particular ski company, and I remember the guy across the table from me as he looked at the list that you've got on your table now of all these shops, and he said, wait, Jake, are you telling me that Powder magazine is on the back of 3,000 toilets in ski shops around the country? And I said, well, sir, if they do have a men's and a women's, it would be 6,000. And that's the power of the combination of what Steve did, getting to those shops, and then we published the names of the shops in the magazine so that they got, connected to this cult, and that's how it happened. So that's a little bit of the background of how powder didn't just succeed out of thin air. It was so much damn hard work. It was really a lot of work. And we are blessed to have had a chance to actually have our passion be our profession. And that was the whole deal. And I'm going to end by doing something really, really fun. I would like everybody, including David, everybody that was on the cover or photographed a cover to stand up. Everybody that was on a cover of Powder Magazine. We got Otto Schutte. Keep standing, please. Keep standing. Keep standing. So this is how amazing it was. Dick Barrymore, who became a really good friend of mine, said, "Do you know that being on the cover of Powder Magazine is the greatest accomplishment of any skier? Could you put me on the cover?" And I said, "Dick, you're 60 years old. We can't put you on the cover." So, okay, now, anybody that has written for Powder Magazine or photographed a photo, please stand. Everybody keep standing. Everybody's taking a photo. Okay? Everybody that has worked at the office in Dana Point or in the office, please stand. Anybody that subscribed to Powder Magazine, please stand. Anybody that bought just one copy of Powder Magazine, please stand. Anybody that read a copy of Powder Magazine, stand. Anybody that advertised in Powder Magazine, please stand. This medal should be all of yours because this has been a team deal. Thank you so much to the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame.